infinite Stratos, and infinite testicles. Yes, Bad Anime is sponsored by Manscaped. You can use our code BAD20, BAD20, at checkout at manscaped.com for 20% off anything on the website. Thank you so much for supporting Bad Anime. Thank you for supporting us and our balls. Yeah, let's get to it. Giant robots. Woohoo.
It's Bad Anime.
Hello, everybody. My name is John.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Bad Anime, the show where we decide, is this anime bad? This one is horrible.
Whoa there, Sailor. Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
I'm sorry. Premature.
It's okay. Wow, okay.
Oh,
we have
oops.
some
Oopsie.
we have some opinions already spewing like
Boy.
a hot load of infinite Stratos. Here we are.
Infinite Stratos, finite load. Welcome to Bad Anime, everybody. This week we're going to be talking about Infinite Stratos. And,
If you're a
Rob,
long-time listener, you probably saw this
boy.
coming. Because we've been
did.
mentioning this one on and off a lot. And we were talking about things we can cover. And then I kind of had a light bulb. It was like, do we ever actually talk in depth about Stratos? And you were like,
Nope.
No, we didn't. I thought we did. It's like, oh, let's do that then.
We've talked about talking about Infinite Stratos, but we've never actually done a full episode on it. I remember like very early into the podcast where we were talking about Best Girl Day.
Yep.
We had our Best Girl Day year 2.
Yes.
Which is obviously for everybody listening, Best Girl Day is when our friends all get together and we watch a full 10 to 12 episode season of anime, and then everybody picks their best girls, but everybody guesses each other's favorite waifu or best girl. And it's a really fun day. The first year we did Infinite Stratos. The second year we did Mother of the Goddess Dormitory. We talked about Mother of the Goddess Dormitory a few months back during Harem month. But now we're at the show that started it all. We're at Infinite Stratos.
We are at Infinite Stratos. Yes, this quirky little kind of mech, kind of not harem anime from 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 2010 anime, so you know it's in an academy. So they're in this freaking robot academy here. And the reason why I picked this one for the original Best Girl Day
Okay.
is because I just watched the show on my own accord. It was a pandemic watch, and I'm like, I want my friends to know about this. I really do. Because there was a couple scenes in here where I'm just like, the fuck? And here's the thing. At this point, we've already been doing the high school DxD drinking game for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So I was looking for other anime to do like a drinking game with. But then I watched this show and I'm like, this has to be viewed and we can have a great time with it. But I just didn't think, I couldn't pinpoint a drinking game necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw the opportunity for Best Girl Day. I'm like, oh, Infinite Stratos is a surefire thing. So,
Oh, yeah.
yep. And what you explained was the first format of Best Girl Day. The second year we changed the format a little bit to try to have some fun with it. We just we all watched a show, and then the last year what we did was I locked the basement door, and we weren't allowed to leave until we all agreed on a tier list of girls in the show.
Which was so funny because as long as it took us to watch the show, it took us at least an hour or two to finish.
To agree on that freaking tier list, it was amazing.
Oh,
and
it
we
took
were all
forever.
Progressively getting more wasted as we were doing so.
And it was on a show as dumb as freaking Mother of the Goddess Dormitory. Imagine if it was actually for a good show, how long that would have taken. But even for a show like that, we had a legitimate argument over Moon Girl versus Science Girl for like an hour.
Yeah, that was the one that kept moving around in the tier list. Yeah, that was bad.
Tough
My only
list.
regret for this one was we actually didn't do a tier list. Cause I think I would have, because there were so many waifus in the show. It would have gotten very tense. Because
And the interesting part about this show and people's selections for their best girl in the show among our friends, most people chose a character that was a side character.
Yes.
And didn't do a lot in the show. And I was like, this is wow. I remember going around the circle and everybody was like telling theirs, and I just couldn't believe my ears. I was like, she made just that much of a lasting impression that everybody was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Shifuyu. Shifuyu Orimura.
Yeah, Chifuyu and Hoki were two of the big ones. I originally said Shifuyu, but everyone said, Rob, we really thought you were a Hoki guy. And now I realize my friends know my choices in my love life better than I do. Anyway.
I really did think you were a Hoki guy, by the way.
Oh, I changed my answer the next day. I'm like, no, I gotta go Hoki.
But either way.
Anyway, so I guess
we're here to talk about the show.
What the show is. Everything
about the show, from the characters to the plot to everything involved. And we watched this, weirdly enough, we're coming up in February this year, 2023. We're having our third ever Best Girl Day.
Right.
So that means that we watched this show in 2021.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 years. So I had to do a bit of a refresher. I'm sure you did too.
Surprisingly not.
Really?
No.
You remembered a lot of it?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I remembered basically nothing. The only thing I remembered about this entire show was Charles Dunois, the name, and that's it.
Well, because this has been very funny. We've kept saying the name Charles Dunois on this podcast, thinking we were talking about the dude from Spirit Chronicles, Charles Aube, but we're actually talking about Charles Dunois, one of the characters in this show.
A ridiculous mistake. How could we have done it? We're very sorry.
We should. You know what? This is where people would normally retire from their anime podcast. We're going to double down harder and faster and meaner and louder.
If you've felt victimized by our forgetting of Charles Arbor, please email us at badanimepod@gmail.com. Send GIFs, send emojis, send nudes, whatever you'd like. We will accept them all and agree to our punishment. Thank you.
Thank you, Daddy. Can I have another? Anyway. Infinite.
Once again, it's I'm sorry, sir, for I have sinned.
Okay, my eyes went a little buggy on that one. So before we talk too much about the Catholic Church,
back to the Stratos. Back to the
stratosphere. I remember the plot of this one very well, even the intricate details, because of the night we had. Because, like I said, I watched the show once before we did it with everybody. And elements of the show I thought were so stupid. I didn't think anything about. I later learned were so stupid. The show takes place. We have this kind of scientist character who I love because she appeared late in the series, but she was voiced actually by Alison Keith. Who is the original voice of Masato. So you'll recognize her voice from the. You'll recognize her voice from Rebuild, if anything. So she's great in this role because she didn't really try too hard. It's Masato's voice, but ditzier. So that was
Hell
nice.
Yeah.
So this mad scientist kind of person invents this thing called the Infinite Stratos. It's a mech suit.
Yeah.
It's like this mech suit, but clearly designed for women, or as designed by a man for a woman. But it's funny, she wasn't a man. Because it's a mech suit that you put your arms and legs into, but your entire midsection is exposed. And of course, you have to wear this skin-tight, kind of spandex material when you're flying around in the robot.
As per usual.
So she invents this thing. And there's a high-ranking person in, like, the IS whatever council type of code, like, the people who are authorized to use these things. Named Chifuyu Orimura. She was like a soldier, but then they signed this thing called the Alaska Treaty saying you can't use these anymore for war.
I remember us getting so fucking hung up over the Alaska Treaty.
Oh, it was all Chris.
For the 12. Oh my God, Chris.
Well,
oh my God.
Friend
He was
Chris
like, the Alaska Treaty for a global argument? Why Alaska?
Well, but Chris during the entire time he was getting progressively drunker and just kept going back. It's like, well, if only they read the Alaska Treaty.
Like, we're at episode 12 and they said that in the first 2 minutes of the first episode.
Oh, it was amazing because he would just wait for the perfect moment to say it and then just nail it. I was peeing myself by the end of the night.
Hilarious.
I was also very...
To your point, you were very what? Sorry.
Drunk.
Good. Very nice. Very good. That checks out.
Yeah.
Something else about this is that you hit on this point, but I wanted to just reinforce it a little more. Is that these Infinite Stratos, or IS as they become called, they are mechs,
yeah,
and they are used for war,
right?
but only women can pilot them.
Yes, that's the thing here. Women can pilot them until one day he's about to find out. So the younger brother of Chufuyu, one of the best fighters to ever put in an IS suit, he just tries to find her one day. I think he just goes to her workplace like, yo, Chufuyu, where you at? We don't even know why he's there. A very innocent reason he's there. Somehow he accidentally touches an infinite Stratos and it actually like bonds to him and he's able to use it. And all the people are like, but you're a dude with the wiener. How did you do that, wiener guy?
Wiener guy.
So they said, you're going to school because there's a fucking academy to use these things. Of course there is.
Yes.
So,
of course there is.
So then we get to learn about the wonderfully complex system of like the US, UK, and other parts of the world building these fucking things. So they don't know what their role is going to be in the world, but for right now they have competitions and they just battle each other for kind of no reason. And it's like, are you going to be super soldiers, global defenders? What's your plan here?
You never know what the point of it is. And that is the best part and worst part of this show is that you never understand why they're doing this necessarily. And what you were talking about, Wiener guy, our protagonist, Wiener man. His real name is Ichika, but we can call him Wiener guy for the entire show. I'm down with that.
Sure.
Wiener guy is in a very, I'm sorry, wiener is a funny word. In a very,
I might have to call him Ichika. We'll see how we feel.
Interesting position because Wiener guy's always in an interesting position. Am I right? But Wiener guy is in a very interesting position,
doggy,
because of course this show was set up in a way that Ichika is the only guy at an entire school of women his own age who are also learning how to pilot these Infinite Stratos mechs from different countries, from Britain, from Germany, notably, from China, all these different countries.
But and how's he going to fit in?
Wiener guy always finds a way to fit in.
Hey-o!
Hey-o! But that's, to me, that is the exact point of this show. To have one dude and like 20 girls who are all just really down to bone. And he's like, what? The entire time. And that is basically what the show is, but at like a mech school.
Well, that's the thing. It's just a harem show in the most extreme way where they eliminate the complete aspect of any other dude even being around.
Yeah.
So they really engineer it perfectly in that sense, where it's Ichika, and every couple episodes a new girl shows up, because first we have his childhood friend, of course, Hoki Shinonono, which is a real name. She is the sister of Tabane Shinonono, the person who built the IS things in the first place. So she constantly has a lot to prove. We learn her and Ichika were childhood friends who used to do kendo together. I think they moved at some point. But they kept tabs on each other over the years, like, because apparently Hoki was good enough at kendo to win competitions that were published about in newspapers. So each could be like, nice, I'm glad Hoki's doing good.
Cool.
It's endearing.
Yeah.
But of course, Hoki might have had a childhood crush on him, and next thing you know, he comes back and he's apparently a stud. I don't know. I thought he looked like every other anime protagonist ever.
He is every anime protagonist. Like it's not even. I saw another picture of him today when I was just getting up on it again. 'Cause it's been a few years since we watched it, and I forgot what he looked like, so I looked him up, and I saw him, and I immediately was like, "Is that Hero from Darling in the Franxx, or
what's
is
Rio
that the
doing
main?"
here?
Is that the main character from Chivalry of a Failed Knight?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Because I have no fucking idea what the name of that kid was.
Oh, me neither. But he looks like every freaking anime protagonist that's ever entered a school or an academy ever. So he has that going for him, at least. The look.
So he's got the look down, but luckily, he's a big fish in a small pond. So
yeah.
He's the only hot dog in a bun factory. Okay, that might have been one.
Did you just come up with that?
Yeah, I did.
If we ever make merch, That is the first T-shirt that we will ever make.
Oh my god, only hot dog in a bun
In
factory.
a bun factory.
Oh
my God.
Just one wiener surrounded by a bunch of buns.
Hey, he wouldn't be Weiner guy if he
Wouldn't
didn't.
be
If he wasn't the only one, you know.
Wait, Bouncy, if this whole show was an ad for a shirt, I would have liked to have known beforehand. Would have liked to have prepped myself emotionally. My face is getting redder from how hard I'm laughing. So,
Cheers, bud.
cheers to Wiener Guy.
To Weiner guy.
Oh, that's a good beer.
Oh, so
Wieners.
Weiner guy.
Only one
is,
wiener.
Is
A
at
wiener
this
guy.
academy the Weiner guy.
Okay, so we got
Is
to
at the academy.
Hokey, so that's where
Hokey.
that's where I was.
Hokey is
completely
the
derailed.
childhood friend.
Yeah, so
Hokey is the childhood friend, and the first combatant that Weiner guy faces is
a new challenger is approaching.
Cecilia Alcott, a British teenager who is from, you guessed it, Britain,
Yep.
who came to this academy to learn how to pilot a robot in Japan.
to be a
but
better
she
pilot,
came over.
yeah.
And she wants to be the class president. And Weiner guy said, oh, man, she's just so annoying. Maybe I'll be the class president. And then they have a fight, and Weiner guy wins. And then she's now, of course, in love with Weiner guy.
I love how I think they kind of, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a kind of a subtext there that she's got a little bit of yellow fever going on, which I'm really into.
In the show?
Yeah,
I don't even remember that.
I remember it being a like underlying thing. It's like she was like, oh, what? Because like at first she's like, stupid Japanese men, stupid.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't even remember that.
it's a mild thing in there.
It's very
They
funny,
did,
though.
They did that with Ria's Grimoire too, and apparently the novels for High School DxD they kind of played that up a little bit. Because in High School DxD, the fact that Rios was foreign didn't matter at all, but in the novels, it was a big deal. You know, not that she was a demon girl from hell, that she was a white girl from hell.
That was the part that put people off. Like, oh my god, a white person?
Oh no, ew. Next we had we had
Say it, Rob. Say it, Rob.
Rin Fan.
Yeah. Yes, we did have Rin Fong. Indeed, we did. And Rin Fong, let me tell you, has the spunk. She has the spunk. She brings the fire. She is, Cecilia is the British contestant or the British pilot, and she is from China. And big fan of Rin Fong, am I?
She was for that 4 hours, you were obsessed with Rin Fan. It was amazing.
Loved Rin Fong. My choice for best girl. She's got the spunk. It's got all that going for her. She's a fun time. She also, of course, gets to the school and is like, Weiner guy. I got to take him down a peg. And Weiner guy bests her in battle as well.
No. That was a different backstory for her.
Oh, a different one? Really? Oh, I thought it was a Weiner guy backstory.
No, it was a Wiener guy, but it was because they were friends when they were in middle school.
Oh, yeah.
They were friends in middle
about
school
that.
after Hokey moved. And apparently at one point, because Japanese people have this weird thing sometimes, but they don't explicitly say, will you date me? Or like, will you marry me? So I forget how she put it, but she said like, hey, if I do this or that, will you eat my dumplings every day? Because of course, her and her family owned a Chinese restaurant. And it's obvious there's romantic subtext there. And it completely flies over Ichika's head. It's like, yeah, she's just talking about food. And Fawn's like, God damn it, you moron. She's the first one to do this. It becomes a very interesting reoccurring theme that as even with every girl that approaches Ichika, he has no fucking idea that any of them want to bone him. Like, none. He's like, what?
And he is classic Weiner guy protagonist, if I've ever seen one.
But even for, like, Wiener guy protagonist, this one was pretty extreme. It's like, he's like,
he's
like,
right.
alarmingly stupid. Or just alarmingly unaware what's going on.
Can we just agree to call every protagonist in every harem anime that we ever talk about ever again as Wiener guy, and talk about them as in how extent or to what extent of Wiener guy are they in this anime?
We'll do it, but only for characters who are so base as Ichika. You know what I mean? Because luckily, like,
Yes.
to go back to high school D&D, or high school, not D&D, DxD, Issei Hyodo was actually a very interesting character.
Oh, he was. He wasn't a wiener guy. He was just like he was a good character.
He was just a very fun character who
Funny.
actually, and we gotta do more of DxD. We did for season 1. I would love to do season 2 at some point in time soon.
That would be great.
Anyway, back to this wiener guy,
Yeah.
and the next bun, we have. This is actually very funny how this one comes up, because at first we actually meet Charles Dunois, our
Charlotte
French.
Dunois.
Well, no, it was Charles.
Oh,
first.
it's Charlotte. Yeah, it's Charles. Sorry, I said Charlotte twice.
you jumping the gun here a little bit, but it's okay. And this character was one of the reasons I actually wanted to watch it with friends, because first it's Charles Dunois, our French representative. Everyone's stoked because they're like, a second wiener guy.
Yeah.
And this is where I'll give the show credit here. Ichika, instead of like being like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm the cock of the walk here. See what I did? He didn't do that. His first response was, oh, thank God, another dude.
Now we can hang out and be roommates. I don't have to live with a girl.
Yeah, because, ew, no, they have parts.
Ew.
So he pulls in Charles. He tries to make him his best bud right away. We notice that Charles is like unusually shy, very hesitant, very hesitant to
very hesitant.
take off clothes in front of Ichika, and people in the room were like, when we were watching it as friends, people in the room were all kind of like speaking. They were like, okay, yeah, he's totally a girl in disguise. That's what's happening. Then one of our friends just very loudly yelled, no, he's gay. very, very confidently proclaims this. And
my God, that was amazing.
Everyone in the room perked up. It's like, wait, if this is actually just a gay guy, this is way more compelling. But unfortunately,
he'd be like the Kiba to our Issei.
Exactly. Well, Kiba was more implicit than anything.
Yeah, you're right.
It would be cool if there was explicitly one gay guy looking to, take the guy for a weenie ride. But speaking of wieners, let's start talking about some German buns for a nice hot German sausage.
Oh yes,
We have. It's funny because I'm reading the name right now and I'm like, that's not how it's pronounced. It's Laura Budevik.
Laura Budvik. It is actually
Budevik,
pronounced that way.
Budevik.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is actually pronounced that way, and she enters the show as a German engineered killing machine that is made to pilot these IS models, and she's going to the school to learn how to better pilot them and stuff like that. And I thought that we were going to get something a little different with her, but at the end of the day, she also wants to bone Wiener guy.
Yep.
Everybody wants to bone, and she wakes
actually
up,
kisses him.
and
Yeah.
She does. She appears naked in his bed next to him, and he's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And she's like, I like you a lot," and he's like, "I just don't understand." Classic wiener guy.
And to be fair, and to be more descriptive, when we say naked, she still has on her eye patch that she always has, and she has a tactical knife still like strapped to her leg.
The essentials, you know.
So even when she's nude, she still has a knife ready to go.
Great character. She was my second pick.
She was also a blast. And let's see. Yeah, that was, in terms of season 1, that was it in terms of waifus. And
yes,
I mean, in terms of other characters, there was Tabane.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Rob.
Sure.
Do you remember what happened at the end of season 1?
Yes.
What happened?
Sure. Because here's what happened. But before I get to the end, can I give a little bit of context as what the rest of the season is?
Sure, please.
Episodes 1 through 9 were just random attempts by the girls to, I was about to say Issei, to bone Ichika, and occasionally there'd be robot shit.
Yeah. That's how I saw it for the entire show. I barely remember what happened in the last few episodes.
Okay, so the first 9 episodes really kind of played out like almost like a slice of life, where it's like,
right,
we're learning robot shit today, and my male friend is actually like a beautiful female, and I think she wants to do stuff to my butt. or whatever it is that happens in the bedroom. I don't know how this works. I'm Ichiko Orimura. Why is my sister looking at me like that? So that goes on legitimately for a solid 9 episodes. And then
Wow.
we do a lot of things like anime did at the time. The last 3 episodes were an actual arc.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was,
Yes.
an IS unit just went rogue. Like, an automated IS unit malfunctioned, and it just started, like, wreaking havoc somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. It was, like, attacking sea liners. They're like, uh-oh, we fucked up. So they send people from the school to deal with this. Tabane, the inventor of the ISs, and Hoki's sister gets wind of this, and it's like, Hoki, I got a gift for you. That's basically how she talks.
Yes, it really is, though. She has a really good Valley Girl accent.
But like super raspy too.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking love Alison Keith. But anyway, and she throws Hoki a new IS, like the newest generation model. Like I think it's like the generation 5 or something. Everyone else is riding Gen 2 or 3, but here's Gen 5. It's like, what do you mean, Tabane? So, and for the next 3 episodes is basically them trying to take down this rogue IS unit.
Yes.
There's a near death, I forget who almost gets killed, but Ichika's really spurred into action, and they use all the combat skills they've been slowly learning throughout the course of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And like when they fought each other, for example, like they use it's a decent enough culmination of everything they've learned, and they destroy the IS unit. And then we later in towards the very end, Chifuyu, who's an instructor at the school, and Ichika's sister, who's a damn fine pilot herself, and fine. She goes to Tabane. It's like, did you arrange this entire thing, put millions of dollars and several lives at stake just to show off your new robot and give it to your sister? And Tabane is like, no, why would I ever do that? God. It's like, okay, so.
Wow.
I remember very well, everyone in the room looked at me. It's like, no, I think it was our friend Sean who said, wait, Rob, did this show have a point? The main final arc was arranged by one person. It didn't really mean anything. And I'm like, oh yeah, the main villains weren't even introduced in this season. So
I remember that. I remember you saying that at the end of the first season. You're like, yeah, we didn't have there were actually no villains in the first season at all. That's next season. Like, yeah. Oh my god.
Yep. And that was basically season 1 of Infinite Stratos, and there was a bunch of gags thrown in and out of like people trying to win Ichika's affection in various ways. At one point, I remember he gets injured. I remember one scene I loved. He gets injured at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was Rin who tried to put the moves on him while he was sleeping. Cecilia burst in the room. It's like, we all took a truce to not do anything while he's asleep. Okay, that happened. There's a great scene. They all go like on a trip somewhere, and they listen in on, because apparently Chifuyu and Ichika are sharing a room, and they hear a lot of grunting and groaning and suggestive dialogue coming out of the room.
The brother and sister's room.
Yeah, so it's like lines like, oh God, it's been so long. Oh, that feels so good. You know my body so well. Oh. So they assume the worst, obviously. But they're all leaning on the door to the point where it falls down. And it cuts to a fully clothed Ichika and Chifuyu, with Ichika's got his hands deep in Chifuyu's back, getting out like a deep tissue, like getting out the knots in her back. And Ichika's like, wait, what'd you guys think we were doing? And then
she's my hot sister. I mean, sister. What do you think?
She's just my very hot older sister. Wait, I said those words.
I'm sorry. I meant sister. Just sister.
What were you trying to say there?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh my goodness.
Don't worry about it, step bro. Now,
I'm stuck in the washing machine. Can you please help me? Why is your dick out?
Weiner guy 101, baby.
Weiner guy.
But yes. Moments aside, I'm very curious because you know it's been a while since we watched this, right? And we've had a lot of time to sit and think on it, or a lot of time to do the exact opposite. What do you think about Infinite Stratos? Is it a bad show? Is it a good show? Like, what is it in your mind? Because I feel like we have, I always have like an affinity towards it because it was our first Best Girl Day anime, and I find it very useful in that regard. But in general, is it like a bad anime or is it a good anime?
Remember, we're talking explicitly about season 1 here.
Yes, season 1.
Infinite Stratos season 1. I've been thinking about this on and off for 2 years. Like what my actual thoughts are, because it's challenging. Before this bouncy, I read no plot synopsis.
Wow. You remembered all of that?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Because here's the thing, and I thought about it more, because I've always had this affinity for Infinite Stratos, even before I watched it with you guys. And it took me a long time to figure out why. But then once I actually kind of realized why, I was like, idiot, that makes so much sense. How could you not think of this? It's a very fun, dumb, comedic good time with robots, a couple of charming characters, and the entire thing, there's almost no plot. It's so character driven.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun characters in a goofy mech world, clearly not taking themselves very seriously.
No, not at all.
Just doing dumb shit.
Right.
So you have to be in the right lens when you're talking about the show. And be aware that you're talking about an action comedy. With romance elements, obviously, but you're talking about an action rom-com, essentially. Is it good? I mean, not really. It's funny. It's really enjoyable, but is it bad? I can't really say it's bad because I remember it all that much. You know what I mean?
It's
just so charming, and I just have fun with it. It's goofy. Is it amazing? Absolutely not. I can't even really say it's good. I really can't. But am I glad I watched it? Yeah. It was just, I just laughed a lot, you know? And these characters, and you know what? I got to give a lot of credit to the English cast here because the voice actresses for the dub, which we watched, they sold this show.
They did.
All these characters were three-dimensional, had great reactions, and the animation was here too. Like, you know, it was good for the time. It still pulled up pretty good. The CGI for the mechs actually pretty good. You know what I mean? It's very sparing use of CGI, which I really like. Yeah. Only use it when it's necessary. It was just a dumb, fun, sort of horny good time. That's how I'm going to say. It wasn't really that bad at all. It was just, it's not too much to really rip on. That's how I feel about it. Clearly, people hate it. They hate it. I know plenty of people who hate it because they
I've seen a lot of people really, really hate this show. And I'm not really in that camp, but I do see the points. I do see, like, okay, our main character is fucking nothing. He doesn't matter.
But he's not the point.
He's not the point. He's cookie cutter. No point in him. Every other character has a little bit of something, and I think this show, the reason I'm not going to call it bad, and I think the reason I can't call I'm not going to call it bad.
Did you start off with saying this is horrible?
It was horrible. I didn't love it. I didn't enjoy it, but I don't think it was bad, if that makes any sense. I
go on, because right now, no, but elaborate. I'm not going to cut you off.
Okay. For what we needed it for, it was great. It was perfect for what we needed, which is just an anime that was silly, had a bunch of characters that we could debate about later. Great.
Yeah.
Looking back, it had a little more charm than I thought it would have.
Yeah.
And I think charm was its saving point. Because everything else about it was very surface level, very two-dimensional. Cartoons, but very two-dimensional, very like not fleshed out.
3D.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. All the characters, even though like some got more development than others, they all ended up in the same place, which is liking this guy that has zero personality and just a wiener.
Right.
So there are a lot of points where I was like, I mean, it's just whatever. I mean, would I ever really watch it again? No. Would I watch the season 2? I probably wouldn't watch season 2. Season 1, though, I think it had just enough for me to not consider it a horrible time.
Yeah.
It is and I guess what I'm trying to say, like what I said at the beginning, it is a horrible show. And I think it is very shitty, but it's not bad. It's not like, I'm not going to like, if you told me, like if somebody walked up to me and was like, oh yeah, what anime do you watch? I'm like, oh, I told them what anime I watch. What anime do you watch? And they tell me Infinite Stratos. I would be like, okay, why? not like you're a horrible person and you have bad taste. Just why?
Yeah.
I think is my response, which is why I think it's not bad. I don't think I like it as much as you do.
No.
But
yeah.
I do have
you seem more angry at it than I am.
I am angry.
You're taking this way more seriously than I am. I'm noticing this now. See, this is fascinating now.
Yeah, I am. I took this anime a little more seriously, I guess, because it's
why?
I don't know. I don't know. Like,
it's a harem anime set in a high school with robots. Why are you? Why?
I don't know.
I'm so curious as to why you're taking this so seriously. Because you are.
You're right. Because they did exactly what they wanted to do. I felt like it could have had more dimensions to it, but it didn't, and that's okay. Not everything has to do that. So
I'm so curious what would happen, because when you watched this, we didn't even start recording this podcast yet. So I really wonder how your memory of the show versus watching the show now would hold up.
Would change.
Yeah, because now you have so much more experience with this type of anime, because realistically, before, when you watched the show going in raw, the only harem anime you've probably ever seen were the first 2 episodes of High School DxD.
It's true.
So who knows? So maybe that might be part of why your anger comes from. Because
it could be.
Because when you look at High School DxD, you said it best. Oh, the plot doesn't really matter. Yeah, and a lot of the reasons why you like High School DxD are the exact reasons why I like this show.
Yes. Yes, you're right. You're right. But I thought like High School DxD had like Issei is much better of a protagonist than the Weiner guy.
Yeah.
Issei like actually has like funny things to say and quips and like knows exactly what he's getting into, and it's like a different show.
Oh, don't get me wrong. High School DxD is a way better show than this.
Oh yeah, way better. Way better. But this, like, I still can't call it bad, but I didn't particularly love watching it, but I loved it for what it was, I guess.
That's the thing,
and,
you know.
And you have to like it for really
Oh,
yeah, you can't really go in, which is maybe what I did. You can't really go in thinking that you're going to get, like, some really
you can't
interesting,
really go in expecting much of a compelling narrative.
Right.
Because that's, especially the first season, that's not what the first season tried to do.
You figure out what it's about.
Yeah, the first season was just basically, hey, horny kids in a high school and there's robots. You're welcome.
You're welcome. And that's it.
That's all it tried to do.
Like, I'm honestly surprised that neither of us said it was bad.
I thought you hated the show, honestly, so I was very excited.
I guess I do hate it, but not that much, maybe.
I think you hate parts of it.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think you definitely are angry at parts of the show, but you're realizing how much. But I mean, maybe you're remembering how much fun you had watching it, not for the show itself, but also because the thing is, the show had to have some charm for you to like have that fun of a time. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I did have a good time, even though like the environment was one that was catered to having a good time.
Right.
But I feel like even in watching it myself, I probably would have a good time watching it, even though I probably would have a good time and at the same time be like, ugh, God damn it.
You seem really confused.
I am very confused by
Bouncy, do you want to... I might have proposed something new and something bold.
Okay.
It sounds like you're so confused. Do you want to just leave this one as inconclusive for you? Because you're talking at both ends, and I have no idea how you feel about the show right now.
I guess I should. I don't know. I think it's just a big question mark for me at this point, because there's so many things I hate about it, but there are also so many things that I'm lukewarm about. So,
do you hate the show or not, or do you not know?
I don't know. I think I've talked both points fully. And I've come to the agreement that I still think it's not bad, but I just can't give you an incredible reason why I don't.
You seem really confused, Bouncy. I'll tell you what. Here's what we should do.
Okay.
In the interest of sparing yourself, because your head is getting your head is sinking more into your hand as you're thinking, where you're just like, God damn it, how do I feel? You don't look mad yet, but I feel like if we keep going, you're gonna drive yourself insane. So
yeah,
for the interest of saving your sanity, let's do something for the first time. Let's genuinely leave you as inconclusive. Or question mark, whatever you want to call it.
We will note this. We will note this for our next year season 2 finale.
For our season 2 wrap up, we'll come back to it.
We will come back to
Keep it in the back of your head.
Yes. But until then, everybody, thank you for listening once again.
And I did not think we were going to get 40 minutes out of Stratos.
I thought we were going to get 20 at most, but here we are.
Well, everyone, thank you for enjoying whatever this episode was. I had a really good time recording this one, so I'm going to finish the rest of this Busch Light with my friend here and enjoy Sunday.
Yeah, hang out, love life, Weiner guy.
It's bad. Wow, oh my god, what a rousing podcast of anime conversation. Am I right, my compares? Am I right, my weebdom? Anywho, yeah, you can send us a message if you want. Did you like this podcast? Did you hate this podcast? Do you want to kill me? Do you want to drench me in Calaxosaur blood and watch me drink it? That's fine. Just send us an email at badanimepod@gmail.com or DM us on our Instagram at badanimepod, all one word. You can also find us on YouTube as Bad Anime, and you could leave a comment on whatever video you want to leave a comment on. We'll read them all anyways. We don't care. I love you. Kiss, kiss.
Simple Equations Podcast Network.